Well, hello, welcome back to Tale 3 Cabins. I just thought I would try to get you caught up on a few things. My health, what's going on with Southern Ohio, some sad news down in Tennessee, what's going on around here, and a little bit of commentary at the end. And let's just start off with Southern Ohio and my health, because they kind of coincide with both. I went down to Southern Ohio at the beginning of January. We went down for muzzleloader, and I just wasn't feeling that great. We were also going to meet a gentleman from the county to decide on the type of septic system we're going to need. We're going to do a perk test down there. And then at the cabin, I turned on the water, and unbeknownst, we had that record cold around Christmas. I turned on the water down in the cabin and ended up with a couple busted pipes. Again, they were higher up pipes, and I really don't know how that water can get up there. There's so many other places that water could settle that you think the pipes would break. But we had a couple cracked pipes. That was a little frustrating. Hopefully next time I repair it will be the last time, and we'll be demolishing that cabin. I went down there the first day, I just wasn't feeling right. The next day I got up and still wasn't feeling right, and I just said I'm gonna go home. So my friend Don and I, we both decided just to head home. As I'm driving home, I didn't feel like maybe I should be driving, so we kind of pulled over by the freeway, and I dropped my truck off, and we decided that maybe we'd drop me off at the hospital, see what was happening. Dropped off my truck, jumped in Don's truck, still wasn't feeling good, was actually feeling worse. Pulled over, called for a squad. The squad took me into the city of Cambridge, and I went to the emergency room there. The squad guys were great, they were very nice. In fact, one of them left me a comment on my next video that I put out. He happened to recognize me even though I had a mask on, that I have a YouTube channel, and he has a tractor, a 1025R, he watches the channel all the time. So they took really good care of me, got into Cambridge Hospital, they did all kinds of tests. And I went in there, I was having chest pain and tightness and difficulty breathing. And they determined that I did not have a heart attack, but I should go see a cardiologist to check on things. So fast forward a couple days later, I did see a cardiologist. He did set me up with an appointment to check the arteries in my heart. And I actually had that yesterday, and everything looked good in my heart except for one artery. It had about 30% blockage. They consider that the widowmaker if you have issues with that artery. There's nothing to worry about right now. They just want to keep an eye on it in the future. Decided to put me on like a statin drug, even though my cholesterol is just a hair above the normal range, just a fringe of being a little bit high, but they wanted to do that to prevent that 30% increasing in the future. So that's where we're at with Southern Ohio. Karen and I are hoping to go down there this week. I'm going to bring JD down, and we're going to try to line things up and get that perk test taken care of. And once we know the type of septic system the county wants us to put in, how large it has to be, how big the leach fields are, we'll have an idea what the price tag that's going to be, and then we can start moving forward again. But we wanted to knock that out before we really made any commitment to make sure there was no issues with a septic system in the future. Now, Tennessee cabin, we have not been at the Tennessee cabin for probably 10 months. I think last April was the last time we were down there. Normally we like to go every 3 or 4 months and just stock up on supplies, but last year we kind of had some friends and some relatives take our place going down there and doing some minor chores and dropping off supplies as we needed, and it worked out pretty good. It allowed us to do some other things like go on an extended RV trip out west. Since it's been 10 months since we were in Tennessee, a few things stacked up we wanted to take care of, and we were notified by our cleaners that they thought our hot tub was leaking, that it dropped quite a few inches in between renters. They were always topping it off or filling it up, and even a couple of renters mentioned that it went below the top jets while they were staying like 6-7 days. So I knew that there was a leak somewhere, and I was crossing my fingers that it wasn't anything serious. I took off the panel, looked inside. I was worried that it might be a jet or something like that it's hard to get to that was leaking, but it appeared to be leaking right where the heater is. There are two fittings that have gaskets on there, and I did not have the tools myself to take that apart, and I did not have the gaskets nor the time to order something like that online. So I did call a hot tub company. They squeezed me in the same day, which was great because they were talking about 2-3 weeks. And I just told them I happen to be down here. It would be great if somebody could swing by, because if there's something else I got to take care of, if I know I got to replace it or something like that, I'd like to get that out of the way while I'm down here. He came out, replaced the gaskets for me, sealed it back up, and so far so good. It doesn't appear to be leaking anymore, so that was a major issue. I also wanted to change a burned out light on top of our ceiling, the cathedral ceiling that's above our loft. I got my ladder out, and I tried climbing up there, tried to reach that light and just couldn't do it. My ladder's just a little too short So we were trying to figure a way to get up there and change that light bulb. We decided just to put it off and that maybe I would wait around, and if I saw somebody in the neighborhood working next time I'm down there, like a contractor or something, that I could maybe borrow a ladder for an hour. Luckily, we did not get too far into the process. Even if we figured a way to get up there, it turns out that the bulb that needs to be replaced is like a flat LED disc type of bulb, and I did not know that was the type of bulb that was in there. I was just bringing a regular LED bulb, so I would have been kicking myself if I got up there, finally took the globe off, and found that I didn't even have the right bulb for it. Now, we went down to Tennessee for our annual HOA meeting, and we also took down the Christmas decorations and a few other odds and ends that we always have to take care of, burned out lights here and there. And then at the tail end of our trip, unfortunately, and I'm not sure how this all started, but we lost 3 cabins to fires down there. Apparently one cabin caught fire. They're kind of a tight-knit group of cabins, and it caught 2 other cabins on fire. I went to go check the site out, so if I can pass any information along to the owners, because some owners are like me where they don't live in town and they might live several hours away or a plane ride away. Did what I could to share some information with them, took some pictures. Unfortunately, we lost 3 cabins, and it certainly brought back some memories of the loss of our cabin when we lost it back in 2016. So I could really empathize with these folks, what they're going through right now. We have a Facebook page where everybody's on there, giving them advice for builders. If they need anything, volunteer to take pictures as they start to rebuild so they kind of know what's going on down there. So just a very tragic event. Unfortunately, there's always something when you're living up in the mountains like that that affect you. In fact, a few weeks before that, we had a pretty good windstorm, and a cabin that was probably not too far away from ours, maybe about less than a quarter of a mile, eighth of a mile. They were on the next road above us driving. They were in the right spot at the wrong time, and a tree just so happened to come down right on top of their car. So that was what's happened in Tennessee. We spent a week down there, came back home here. A few things around the homestead that's been going on here in northern Ohio. We had some very heavy rain a little while ago, and I noticed that our stream underneath the bridge was not flowing as usual. It seemed like there was like something blocking it or backing it up, and I took a picture, lowered my iPhone down there, took a picture, and it appears that somebody's culvert pipe let loose somewhere upstream, came down by our place during some heavy rains and lodged itself in one of our pipes. So I had a culvert pipe inside a culvert pipe. So I immediately sprung into action and got my all-purpose tool out, Karen, who could fit down there a little bit easier than I could, to check it out. And we were able to, I thought I might have to get JD down there somehow, or get some ropes or get some chains or something. But between the two of us, we were able to manage and pull it out, get it on top of our bridge and set it aside. I checked upstream a little bit further, and it appears that there's another pipe that let loose, and that's caught a little bit more upstream. So I'm going to see if I can get JD into the woods when I get some solid frozen ground, or when it's not too wet out, and if I can pull that out of the creek, because it looks like that one is lodged in there pretty good. But I don't want to get a heavy rain in the spring and have the same thing happen, or block both of my pipes somehow and get a flood going over the top of our bridge. One other thing I want to talk about are supplemental videos. Usually I do our main video for Tale of Three Cabins on a Tuesday morning. I release it somewhere around 9 a.m. Most of the time it's 9 a.m. And then sometimes there's a video that might be a little bit off topic, or what we were doing here between the 3 cabins, but I still want to share with folks to maybe make a helpful video that gives out some information. And a good example of that is like my wife's plug-in hybrid. Did a little video on that about what does it actually cost to charge it compared to gasoline. And that was a pretty popular video. There's a lot of folks out there that are thinking about a hybrid. So it doesn't have too much to do with the tractor and too much to do with projects, but it is helpful information for folks. So there are times when I make a supplemental video. So I do a lot of reviewing of products, generally about 3 or 4 methods of doing this. Some that I just outright go pay for, like my forks and my snow plow, my tiller, my brush crusher, subsoiler, and I'll do little reviews on them and let you know what I think of them and how they're working, and then you'll see them in the future in projects. And then there are products where people might reach out to me that want me to review it, and a lot of times they will give me that product. And then there's times where I reach out to other folks where I'm thinking about buying something, and I think to myself, well, maybe I should reach out to them and see if I could maybe get a discount or something like along those lines. And the first time someone ever reached out to me, I just bought my brush crusher. The brush crusher at the time did not have any teeth in the center. It was just on the sides where I was able to pick up logs and branches and stuff like that. But it was a little tedious trying to do it because there was no teeth in the center. And when I put out the first video on the brush crusher, Westendorf actually sent me an email, said they enjoyed my video and would I like to try this new thing they're doing with the brush crusher where they're putting teeth in between the outer teeth. And I said, sure, that would be great. So they didn't really offer me a discount. What they offered me was free shipping, which saved me maybe about 150 bucks. I wanted a teeth anyways because that's something I knew I was going to use, and I thought it would make the brush crusher all the better when I was using it and make it more like a decent grapple. So that's the first time someone has ever reached out to me. Fast forward when I'm building the pole barn, and it just so happened to be a coincidence that I'm thinking about what do I going to do for power in here? Should I run a line? Should I do solar? A company called Blue Eddy contacted me and asked if I wanted to try out one of their power stations. And I said that would be great. It's just a coincidence that I'm just trying to figure a way to put some power in here to get some lights going. So they gave me that. I did a review on the Blue Eddy. And sometimes when you review a product, you get a bunch of other people wanting you to review their same product. But I try to put that stuff in a supplemental video so it doesn't take part in the main video. A few folks have been complaining, like, what's the deal with all the power stations? So to me, if somebody is offering me one of their products, if it's something that I'm going to use myself personally, and if it's something that kind of applies with what's going on here between our three properties, I'm definitely going to check it out. So the first thing I do is I get an email from one of these companies, check what their product is that they want to offer me to review, and then I'll do some research on the product itself. I might check out other YouTube videos of people that have it and used it. I'll check out reviews on Amazon. I'll check out other things if people have had problems with it. I'll just put in their product name and just put review next to it and see what other reviews from forums I get off of it. And if it seems like something decent and something I'm going to use, well, then I'll turn around and say, yes, I think this fits in with what we're doing here to Tail 3 Cabins, and I can do a review of your product. And a lot of times it's just they send it to you. There's no questions asked. They really don't have any control of what I'm going to do or what I'm going to say. It's pretty much just on the honor system. They send me a product, I review it, push out a video, and then that's usually it. First one I did was Blue Eddy. It worked out great. I enjoyed the product. It worked good in the pole barn here. So now we fast forward a few months, and now I probably get somebody wanting me to review a product maybe 2 or 3 times a day where I get an email. Most of the time they show up in the middle of the night because they're coming from China. I just ignore a lot of them because they really don't have nothing to do with the channel. It's nothing that I would use personally, and it's nothing that I feel is worth sharing to my audience out there. But there are a lot of times that there's things going on, like with our RV now, so I'd be happy to review stuff that's RV related. I did this bicycle, an e-bike, not that long ago because I had bought some e-bikes already, and I did a lot of research and looking into those, the ones I wanted to buy. So I thought I kind of have a good knowledge of it and using an e-bike and what I would like in an e-bike. I was glad to take this and review it. Also, there is a cost to running this YouTube channel, and it's usually with cameras and microphones and data storage, stuff like that, buying hard drives, laptop, editing software. Well, a lot of times if I'm getting like multiple power stations, I have no problem reviewing them and checking them out. I want to make sure that they're good and decent, and I'll be honest about that. If I can also turn around and sell a product, I can then take some of that money and put it back into the channel by buying a better camera or some better microphones and along those lines. I try not to bore you on the main Tuesday morning video with something like that. I always make it a supplemental video during the week. So if you want to skip it, you can skip it. But it's just information that I think is kind of neat. And then I want to talk about when I reach out to people. So I've reached out to a couple different companies. When we got our RV, I reached out to a couple generator companies to see if maybe they'd send me a generator that I could try. And I really didn't get any response from them. A lot of folks have said, oh, I should try Wicked and I should try to get a grapple and try to do this and that. About a year and a half ago, I was thinking about getting a cab for the tractor, and I started checking out different companies that make the cab for the 1025R, and I had a few requirements. I have the backhoe on the back, so I still want to be able to use the backhoe with whatever cab I got. And it turned out that the best fit for me was a cab made by the Curtis Cab. And I reached out to them. I sent them an email, told them I have a YouTube channel. He called me back. We had a nice long conversation on the phone, told me about the history of the company, about the history of their cabs. I told him what we do on my end. He checked out some videos. He thought they looked pretty nice and that he wanted to work together. So this conversation went on for about a half hour, and it sounded like to me, I'm thinking, well, he's just going to offer me a discount or something like that. You know, he'll send me a product that I'll try out, and it'll probably be like the lower end part of their products. And they ended up just sending me a cab, one of their middle of the road cabs, and they just sent it to me, no questions asked. They only said that if I have a bad experience or something, to contact them, and they'll try to work it out and fix it, and I did not have any issues. So now when I'm thinking about doing something in the future, I kind of think in the back of my mind, well, maybe I should reach out to these people if I'm going to make a purchase and just see if I can at least save a little bit of money coming out of my pocketbook that I could maybe devote more into the quality of this YouTube channel. So that's why you're seeing all the power station videos. Unfortunately, you're going to probably see another one, a supplemental one after this video for Friday. As I went down to Tennessee, we had all these problems with the wind and trees falling down, and we have some power outages and snowstorms this time of year. I wanted to leave a power station for our renters, so if they have issues with the power, that there's a power station down there. So I thought I would do a little review on a power station. I thought that was easy to use and no nonsense for my renters to use in an event of emergency. And then when I got the Van Powers power station, which is, the box is still over here to my left, but that Van Powers power station was a game changer for me because it has the capacity to use high wattage appliances. So for me, I thought that that would make a good main video for a Tuesday because it's going to affect us greatly in the pole barn. It's going to affect us greatly when we take our RV out, and it's going to affect us down in southern Ohio when we start tearing down the other cabin and we have to rely on some other means of electrical sources until we have the new place up. So I thought that that was a great video to put on a Tuesday and share that power station with everybody out there because it does have some unusual features, and it is going to be a game changer when it comes to our 3 properties. So I just wanted to give you a little overview on that part of the channel. I'm certainly not a huge conglomerate where I have tractor companies that want to give me free leases for 1 or 2 or 3 years and give me an array of tractors to try in various sizes. But it is nice once in a while when somebody does notice what you're doing, reaches out to you, feels comfortable that they could try to, I don't want to say advertise, but have me review something, and trust that I'm going to be fair and impartial, that I'm going to produce a nice video for them. So that is just a little overview of what's been happening at the 3 properties lately, and just a little bit of background information what's happening with the Tail 3 cabins. I appreciate everybody watching. I hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell if you want to know when a new one is coming out. And keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.